good room temperature coffee. Hello everyone, this is Tristan Pierce. Today I wanted to attack you for probably 5 to 7 minutes about how nature has helped me shed one of my many layers of anxiety. So let's face some facts. As much as we try to have full control over our emotions, our bodies and our subconscious will still be either negatively or positively affected by the environment that we're around. And that can even affect things like our hormonal and our immune systems. Now, as you may know already, I am an avid Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing connoisseur, if you will. I like to say Shinrin-yoku, the Japanese term for forest bathing, because I feel like if I say forest bathing, it just comes out all like country and it doesn't sound as fancy. Anyway, so I've been doing this basically my whole life because I grew up on a farm around nature. So last week I was like, you know what? Everyone's really starting to piss me off and I don't feel creative. Couldn't think of a video. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to select a random pinpoint on my Google Maps somewhere in the forest and go explore. So the question that I asked myself when I was in the forest was, why do I feel so clear-minded and relaxed afterwards? I mean, this video idea basically attacked me like a Benihana chef. So it's like, why do I only feel that way after I've put myself in that environment? So there was even this urban study done to try to figure out why it benefits us so much. So the study resulted with showing that people who lived with 10% less than the national average of green space around them, meaning like parks, nature preserves, stuff like that, that they could leave their urban environment really quickly and like explore the woods kind of thing. Those people were actually a lot more likely to say that they feel depressed or have anxiety. So what I'm saying is there have been studies done on American citizens that clearly shows that people that have more access to park greenery space are more happy. And this isn't a totally new thing either. The Shinrin-yoku thing that I was talking about, the Japanese term for forest bathing, that caught on in I think like the 1980s and then became like a mainstream, I guess, thing that other people started to do because it was like the new hit thing, like, oh my god, you go forest bathing? That's so fetch. So when I go to the forest, I like to truly connect the way the Shinrin-yoku method suggests. So that would be through sight, through smell, through touch, just really connecting yourself to the environment. There's these things called thimble berries that I really like to eat. They're kind of like a raspberry, but they almost taste like the red pinkish sour gummy worm, which is really good, and you can't buy them in the store. So I'm like out there eating them, looking around, making sure no bears are like, you know, coming over to scratch my face off. And I also like to go off of the trail and really connect with the nature, you know, get a little poisonous oak on my leg and then get a rash, maybe step on some thorns and rip a hole in my shirt, but get really fully invested. And this time, I actually found something really inappropriate looking. So I found this vine, right? And it looked like, you know, like a cucumber or a squash. And I was like, this is weird. Are there like native plants like this in Oregon? I didn't know. So I'm like lifting the leaves up and oh my god, lifted these little undergarments and there were some hairy balls hanging down from this vine. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't think it was this type of a forest. But long story short, I took a bite out of it and ate it, and then I read online that they were actually toxic. Anyway, I felt very clear-minded after experimenting in the woods. It's not like I'm eating random mushrooms. That's a little risky and not something I'm into. Other things that I like to do when I'm out in nature is basically just be a child. Sometimes I run around, I pick flowers and blow on dandelions, and this time I found this tree that had fallen over a cliff and it was stuck between two trees, and I was like, this concernly looks unstable. Let's go walk on it, right? And you know, I'm standing there thinking, would I die if I jump? Should I jump? Then I'm like, no, who's gonna water my plants? And then just looking off at the scenery. And you know, it just really connects you. It makes you value yourself so much more. I didn't jump off that log that day. Clearly that means I have something that I'm living for. So yeah, that's what I do. I felt like the idea came to me because there's been so much going on this year. Like, I don't even have to tell you what's going on. We all know what's going on in the world. And I feel like just anything that we can do that costs free 99 to make ourselves feel better, more connected with ourselves, more connected with our environment, then we should do it. I mean, why not? If it makes you feel good, you should do it. And in our case with forest bathing, it's evidently backed up by science. But you know, even if science said that it didn't actually help us, I would still placebo myself into thinking that it does, because there's no harm in exploring the forest around you. Now that you've let me attack you with all this information, I also want to assign you some homework. So if you are having a bad day, doesn't matter when, I'm not putting a time limit on this, just if you realize that you're having a really bad, stressful day, I want you to try to go into nature. Be that a park, be that a bench in a parking lot at the grocery store, under a tree. I just want you to try removing yourself from the world that we're in and putting yourself in nature and just sitting there for a while and listening to the sounds of the birds, the wind, and tell me how you feel after, because I'm 100% convinced it makes me feel better. If you have learned something new, give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Anyway, I'm gonna go, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.